Okay, okay, so we're recording now. Um, right, so um, Victoria, has your school got their USOs all sorted? Do you,
Have we, do they change every year, Rachel? I
no.
haven't asked the computer person that. So no, then we do have them sorted. We had them last year.
Okay, brilliant. Because the features that I'm going to show you today rely on the pupils having their USOs and the staff having their USOs, because those are what you use to identify to busy things who you are, basically. So
Okay.
we can't do we can't record what a student's doing, and you can't send them feedback and so on within busy things unless you identify yourself with a USO. So if you're using busy things with IP authentication, it's not going to be as effective. So we recommend you get your USOs sorted, because what I'm showing you today is so this screen that you're looking at now, if you look, I've got up here, it says on the left, can you see my cursor? It says teacher ID Bonnie things. So I've logged in with my teacher USO and it knows my name. And then behind here, I've got the pupil view. So this is what the pupil's seeing. And the pupil's logged in with his USO, and he's Tim Busy. Now these two, if you look, my account says LGFL Content Developer Test, which isn't very friendly, but basically that's your school name. So we're the pupil and the teacher here are identified in the same organization with their USOs. So that's the foundation, basically, to using busy things effectively. So if you notice then, when I switch between the two views, here, there's the pupil one, and here's the teacher one. I get, as a teacher, I get these tools over here, this bar along the top, and these little drop down alerts on the right hand side. So those areas are unique to a teacher login, and they're there in order for you to customize the experience that Tim Busy and all the other pupils in your class are seeing. So go back to teacher view. Right, okay, so when you land in busy things sort of untouched, if you've never done any configuration before, it's going to look exactly like this. So you get your early years band, and you get these three setups in there. And if you look, it says made by busy things. So these are the setups that come with busy things. Now, the problem with you using these is that everybody else can use them as well. So the very first thing that you need to do is make your own, basically. So as a teacher here, so every single teacher in the school should make their own setup for their class. I'm going to show you what a setup looks like by looking in a default one here. So we're going year one, and you can see you get all the subject areas, and you get these additional yellow buttons over here, which don't lead to subject menus, but they're useful features. So let's go into a subject menu, maths, addition and subtraction. There we go, there's all the addition and subtraction games. So these are showing you what the pupil sees. So if I go back to the pupil view here, key stage one, year one, there we go, the teacher bar's gone. So the pupil's locked in all this content in this setup. Now, obviously that's not terribly useful because there's just so much of it, unless you're in a sort of free play session. They're just going to roam around even if you try and get them to go into a particular activity. So I'm not only going to show you how to make your own setup, I'm going to show you how you can customize what your pupils see on a regular basis. So you can make the setup really useful. So the default setups that come with busy things are just sort of saying, well, here's everything. Okay, so let's make a setup for our class. I'll go in the middle. I'll make a Key Stage 1 setup. So I'm going to jump up here to manage setups. This is a way of doing it. You can also do it in here with configure busy things. Maybe we'll do that, because if you want to direct to the staff, this is a kind of a wizard to help you actually, I'm not going to do that, because what I want you to do is understand where the problem with a wizard is it kind of does it for you and you don't actually learn where the areas are that it's changing. So if you've got staff that just want to do it really quickly and they don't want to learn behind the scenes, then you can use this wizard. And look, the very first link is set up busy things for my class. And then you can come back in and learn how to track your pupil activity. And then this one, stop pupils from accessing other classes, stop pupils from other classes accessing my pupils area. So those are three sort of really important things that you can have your hand held through in this area. But I'm going to just do it as if I'm expert, because I want you to learn where these things are. So I'm going up to manage setups. So a setup has all the content in busy things for the year group that you choose, that we have decided is appropriate. And we do a default configuration of that, and then we give it to you. So that's what we're doing now. And then from that point onwards, you can do what you want with it. So I'm going to make a Key Stage 1 setup here. I've gone into Manage Setups. And if you look, I've got early years Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2, as we had out here. So this is just mirroring that. I'm going to click the plus to make a new Key Stage 1 setup stroke class. Now we want to make a class. The difference between a setup and a class is described, a simple setup and a class setup is described in these bullets here. If you see this is changing, we always default to a class setup, because then you get all these features. So we're going to, in our setup, the default setups that come with busy things that I've been showing you are all simple setups. Look, they have this icon on here. And they're kind of free. They're not checking who's in there. They're not assigned to a particular teacher or a particular group of pupils. So we want to make one of these now. The reason why we default to free ones is obviously so that we could just show you all the content. But we want you to make one that is just for you and just for your pupils. So, sorry, I'm rambling a bit. I'm going to click it again. And class setup secure, individual pupil files area, full timeline reporting, teacher pupil feedback. So that's going to be really important if the children are working from home. So every single teacher in your class should quickly make a class setup. Okay, so I'm going to go next. I am going to allow other teachers to modify this setup for obvious reasons. We are thinking of making that a default, because if you've got a teaching assistant, or maybe you want someone else to go in there and change what the pupils are seeing, then that's obviously a good idea. I'm going to call this Mrs. Hall, and I'll default to year 1, don't worry too much about which settings you default to, because I'm obviously defaulting to Key Stage 1, and it's just asking me, do you want Year 1 or Year 2 settings? So that's going to sweep through all the content and configure it accordingly. But if you've got a mixed ability year group, or perhaps you've got Year 1 and Year 2 in your class, it doesn't matter because you can still configure it all later. I'm going to change the icon. Oops. And I'm going to change the background. Choose a nice plain color so we can see easily. And I'm going to click save. Right, okay. If you notice, this came in there in Key Stage 1 now. We've got Mrs. Hall's setup, and it's got this icon on because this is a secure class, which is what the red box is denoting. So this setup is just for a teacher and her pupils. And at the end of the process, I've been given this code here. I can edit this code here. So I can change it to something that I'm happy for the children to type, maybe, because this is a code that you're going to give to your children. It's a one-time thing, and it's basically to get them into the class for the very first time. Once they've used CAT 88, they'll never need to use it again, but it just populates the class right at the beginning.
So you could do that in school. You could do that with them.
You could have a really nice lesson. Yeah, we have said that. Yeah. You can, you could just write it up, and then you could direct everyone to the class, and they'll have to type in.
So Rachel, sorry to interrupt you. Sue did this for me yesterday. Did I get a code when she did that? She set up my class for me.
She made one of these setups, a simple setup.
Oh, okay. So can I change it to what you're doing?
Yes, you can. I'll show you.
Okay.
You remind me.
Okay, no worries.
You can upgrade it. Now, a simple setup is obviously important as well on Busy Things, because you really might want anybody in the school to enter it without having to use their USO. They obviously need to use their USO to get into Busy Things, but then they won't be allowed in a class setup unless they've gone through this process, but they will then be allowed in a simple setup. The problem is then all the children in the school can get in a simple setup. What I'm making you here is a setup just for your pupils who you've given this code to. So if you look here, there's a print class code for your pupils to join your class. So if I'm just going to do an experiment and print that, because I'm actually click that button, 4 per page. Hopefully you can see this because I'm sharing the desktop on a second computer. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So you could, if you've done this remotely, you get 4 slips.
Right.
My class, Mrs. Hall, my class code. Use this to join your teacher's class.
Right.
88. And then the tip down here says log in with your USO at busythings.lgfl.net, and then click My Busy Things. Okay, just keep that in your mind, because that is what we're about to do. So that's what they have to do, and this is what you would do if you've got all your children in a lesson doing this. So I can close that and go back here. Okay, so it says, congratulations, you have made your first class. We've added a My Busy Things area to the home page. So I'm going to go here now. Look, we've got this.
Oh, okay.
So I am Bonnie Things, and this is My Busy Things. And in there is my setup. This is a teacher view of my setups. So I might have made a simple setup like you did yesterday. That would be in here. and I might have made setups for other classes. That would be in here. And when you, as a teacher, go into My Busy Things and click on your class setup, you get all the tools that you need to configure that setup for the pupils. Okay, so if I go to manage pupils now, there's no pupils in it because we haven't used that code yet. We haven't got the children to populate the class. I can click on this here and see what it's looking like at the moment for the pupils. This is what they will see because we've not done any customization. All we've done is say, we want year 1 content. There you go. So the concept is, once you've made a class, you get given a My Busy Things area, which is unique to you. All your setups are in there. You click on the setup that you want to manage for your pupils and use these tools to do it. So you can do all sorts of things. You would have been shown yesterday, Victoria, how to find content, how to possibly assign content, how to look at what pupils have been doing, but we'll go through that in a second.
Okay.
But I think right now what we need to do is get a pupil in the class so that we can start communicating with them. So I'm going to go over to the pupil view. I'm just going to reload the page and log in as a pupil. I was hoping I wouldn't have to keep doing this, but it's making me. So I'm coming along with my pupil USO and logging into Busy Things. And my teacher has told me, let's click remember, see if that helps. Oh, I'm in the wrong place, sorry. This is what we tell customers what not to do, and I've just done it. I go in here, sorry. There we go. So I've logged in now with my teacher USO. The minute a teacher in the school makes a class, My Busy Things is triggered both for pupils and for teachers. From that point onwards, that area exists. So Tim Busy's come in with his USO, and he is told by you to click on My Busy Things and join the class. So we were Cat 88. Okay. And it says you are now in this class, and I click OK, and that's it. He never has to do that again. So whenever he logs in now, Tim Busy will click on My Busy Things, and he will see his class setup with everything in, because we haven't made any changes yet, his files, his assignments, any messages from you, and his timeline history. So his My Busy Things looks like this, and your My Busy Things looks like that, sorry, for that setup. So you're using this to change what he is seeing here. Okay, so we're going to do a bit of that now. Is everybody following? Okay.
Yeah, the only question I had, Rachel, is so what does everybody else see? Do they see that first screen that says, sorry, what did it say, like my?
Yeah, when there's more than one class.
Yeah. They see this yellow one,
yeah, the teacher will always, every single teacher that logs in will see My Busy Things.
Right, but when they click on it, they'll get theirs.
They'll only get
theirs. Is that right?
Yeah, and when a pupil, we've only got one class in this account at the moment.
Yeah.
When a pupil clicks on My Busy Things, they'll have to just click on their class, because we've only got one class at the moment. It's just going straight there.
Right, okay.
Actually, they don't even have to click on their class, because we've told them which class they're in. So the
Right.
pupil will always land here. The code was used to say, this pupil's My Busy Things goes here.
Yeah, so as soon as they put their USO in, they can only really go to their one place. Once
Yeah.
you've done that first
They
thing,
should get
the
into
first
the
time.
habit of using this, yes.
Okay,
Now,
perfect.
to reinforce that, what you can do is hide your setup because it's still here.
Mm.
They can access it this way, but you could hide it here and just keep the defaults in these age bands, which are sort of free play. And the way you hide your setup that we made, a key stage 1 setup, is to just jump up here. So if you want to keep it unique to the My Busy Things area to get good habits, it'll still record what they're doing in here if they access it this way, but you don't really want them accessing it this way. So what I'm going to do is go up to Manage Key Stage 1 Setups and go to Settings and just switch it off here. So it's not there now, it's only in here for that pupil. Let me just reinforce that because I'm looking in there. So they won't find it in, oh, this is to do with refreshing. Let me just reload that page. So they won't find it in there now because I've turned it off. They'll only find it in here. So you can have it accessible in both places, but they still need their USO to get to it. You want them to go in here because then they can access any assignments and stuff more easily. I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think you just need to get your head around how the My Busy Things teacher version and pupil version are communicating with each other. Okay, so I've logged back in as a teacher and I'm going to have a look in my class because I want to put some content forward for all the children to do. So I'm going to go in, and if you just jump up to Manage Pupils, let's reload. Sorry, this is a pain. I can't get it to remember. There we go. If we just jump up to Manage Pupils, we can see now what I keep doing, which might confuse you, is just refreshing the page.
Yeah, it's all right.
I've got one browser with teacher view, one browser with pupil view. So I'm just making it recognize that Tim Busy has logged in because I've got them both open at the same time. I need to refresh. So if you imagine you've done your class session and you've given everyone the code and they've all added themselves, you've got a nice long list here of all your pupils. You can send them messages and you can look at what they've been doing. That's what you can basically do in the Manage Pupils area. So let's just do that now. We'll just send a quick message. There's lots of places you can send messages from, but while we're here, we'll do lots of things in the teacher view for Tim and for the rest of the class. And then we'll go back to the pupil view and look at what it's looking like. So I'm going to just say, welcome, Tim, to your class. So I've sent him a message. If you want to check that your message is gone, you can come out here and see what messages you've been sending. The reason why it's out here is because you may have several of these. So you might have sent a message to a pupil in a different class. So the messages is sort of at the front. So you can see you have ongoing conversations with Tim Busy. So that's what he's going to see. And you can manage your messages to pupils in several setups out here. But we send that message within the Teacher Hub for this setup to Tim. Now I'm going to, a nice feature that we've just added is busy blasts. So this is a way of messaging the whole class, not just an individual. So I'm just trying to work out the best way of, I'm probably going to repeat a few things that you heard yesterday, Kathy. I'm just going to have a look here at content and lesson planning tools. So these affect what's going on in here. And obviously this is what you're keeping an eye on because this is what the pupils currently are seeing. So let's go into the curriculum browser and have a look in the maths area. We've got a year 1 set up. So we're going to drill down into an objective. And you can start to see the content for that objective is coming up here. So this tool is looking at all the content that's sitting in my class setup. And these are all the activities that match this curriculum objective. Now, there's a lot of them. Some objectives have only got 2 or 3, but there's obviously a lot of maths content on busy things. So the concept is that you have a play, and if it's an activity that you like, I'm not going to actually show you the content today because I'm just trying to get you to understand managing the content. So imagine I've gone off and played this and I've come back and I've thought, yeah, tribal treadmill's just what I need. You jump onto this red button here, and these are all the things that you can do. So I can add it to favorites. I can pin it to my home page. So I'm saying, right, pin this activity to all the children's home page. So we're going to call it Friday Fun. And I'm going to use the current setup activity settings. But what you can do with when you decide to pin an activity is pin it several times with different settings. So within a class, you can differentiate one activity. So I could pin, you know, it with different number ranges and direct the children accordingly. So I'm going to confirm that. And then I'm going to send a blast. Remember, we saw the blast button. I'm going to say, we'll just use that. Welcome, everyone. Please play this today. And confirm. It says your blast has now been sent. This will appear in your pupils My Busy Things area. Okay, so just to reiterate, we've got, we'll go right through again. We've logged in with our teacher USO. We made a class setup. It generated My Busy Things just for me. And in there is the first thing I've ever made, Mrs. Hall. These messages override everything that I've made, messages to all of these setups. But if I go into a setup, I can start to manage with these tools what the pupils see. So what we've done is we added something to favorites and we created a pin. So to save us sort of constantly going back and forth, I'm going to do a few more things. Simple things that you can do are jump into the actual setup and start hiding content. So I can hide all and just reveal maths and click done. So now the pupil's just going to see Friday Fun and the maths area. So hide and show's pretty powerful. Let's just, I will just nip back and show you that just to reinforce it. So I've logged in as Tim Busy. I go into my class and all I see now is maths and my Friday fun pin, because the teacher's been in and changed it. So I'm going to jump back up to Mrs. Hall's, jump back up to hide and show, restore defaults, put it all back. So everything's back. But if you imagine using hide and show, you could use that by drilling right down to a specific activity. But a way that I prefer to do it would be to use it in combination with changing the landing page. So if you imagine instead of using the curriculum browser, you prefer to click around the actual content that the children's seeing, so you can visualize maybe better. Perhaps you're wanting to do some human body activities. You can use this in combination. So if I do hide and show and just hide some of them and click done, and then I jump up here to Mrs. Hall's settings, and where it says landing page, this is a really important feature. I'm going to say use current page and click save. Okay, so now I'm going back out. When the children log in, they just see that. So I've just quickly hidden lots of things and changed the landing page for my entire class. So that's all they're going to see that day when they log into Busy Things. So these are just sort of very quick ways of customizing what the pupils see. So I'm going to just switch all that back on again. Hide and show, restore default, click done, go back. And then Mrs. Hall's settings, landing page, use setups, home page, and click save. So now, just keep clicking on here to check what it's looking like. It's back like this now. So what I did then was hide some activities and change the landing page. If you remember earlier with Tribal Treadmill, we added it into this pin here. So that's what it looks like when you click on it. And we added it into favorites. So that's what it looks like in favorites. So again, you could direct the children to the favorites, or we blasted this pin as well. And I'm going to show you that when we log back in as Tim Busy. Let's do a few more things. I'm going to make an assignment now. So I'll assign a quiz. Length quiz year 1. I can write my own instructions and give it a title here, but I'll just take the defaults. I'm going to click next. I'm just going to choose the first round of this quiz just to keep it short. I'm not going to let the children review the answers because I want to see, I don't want them to go, that means do you want them to go back and do it again and correct themselves? I can give an assignment a start date in the future. I don't want to do that because I want us to see it right now, but then it would just appear in the children's My Busy Things on that date. So in that way you can plan. Pins also have this feature, so you can, and blasts, so you can make things that you could on a Sunday, if you want to, you could plan schedule a whole week of activities appearing through the blast system and the pin system and the assign system. They all have dates. So I'm just going to click save and let's send a blast about that. We'll do good morning. Please submit this over the weekend. confirm, close, close. Okay. So I'm in the assignments area, and this is the only assignment I've made. And I can see here there's no submissions because I've only just made it. When I come back, I can get to the results through this red button. There'll be a results option here. It's not there at the moment because I've got no results.
Okay.
So let's just do yeah, let's assign a project now. So we'll just do a really simple colouring one just for ease. Exactly the same process. Other teachers, yes. Choose a template. I want everyone to do an octopus. I think that's an octopus. And you don't have to choose a template. The children can choose their own if you leave that blank. I'm not going to give it a start date. And click save. I won't blast this one because we'll have too many. You wouldn't ordinarily, unless I was scheduling them, you wouldn't sort of build up a load of blasts on the same day. Or you could if you wanted to. But so we've done that. We've assigned a second piece of work. In here, you can make your own projects. I won't go into that right now. But if there was a project that you particularly had in mind, so a piece of writing that you wanted them to use our publishing tool for, so maybe you want to write about their lockdown experience or make a poster, that's the place to go for that. Okay, so we've done quite a few things now, so I think we'll go back to Tim. So let's go back.
Rachel, where do they see the blasts?
The pupil, I'm going to go back in now as a pupil. Oh, the teacher. The teacher's blasts are building up in here. So these,
yeah, where do the children see them?
Yeah, so at the moment we're still a teacher and I'm managing. So now I'm going to go in and we've sent, these are the blasts that I've been doing. These are the assignments that I've made. And this is a pin that I've made. And we added something to favorites and we sent a message to Tim. Okay, we've done all that. Now I'm going to go back to the pupil view and show you what that looks like.
Okay.
Okay, so this is where I've got to reload the page again because it still thinks I've, there we go. So you've done all that. The children have come in, they've logged in. They're only looking at their My Busy Things because they've used their USO. And when I go in now, this is what I see. So lots has been happening. Good morning. Please submit this quiz over the weekend. This is a blast from Bonnie Things. That's the teacher's name. Welcome everyone. Please play this today. Friday fun. This is my setup, so they can go in here. You may have hidden stuff. If you remember, we did hide some things and we changed the landing page so that you could have changed how that looks. But probably most importantly, they've got two things that you want them to do today. Now you could avoid the blast system and just rely on the numbers here, or not. You could get them in the habit of looking for these. So let's have a little, I've got a message, so I'm going to look at that. If you remember, we sent a message. If you've got a child in lockdown, then that you can switch this button on and off in your account settings. So at the moment, the child can reply to you, which might be useful. So that's going to go in your teacher my messages area in your ongoing conversations. So you'll have a Tim busy with a number 1 on because he sent you a message. Let's do one of the assignments. So let's do the quiz. So my internet seems to be struggling a little bit. Hopefully it'll stabilize. Okay, I'm not going to read this, I'm just going to do it. So here it says your assignment has been submitted. Remember, we know who this child is and we know that they're in your class. So this result has gone back to you now in your My Busy Things area. So Tim can see that he's completed that one. He's got a tick. He hasn't yet done his colouring. So we're going to do that. Submit. Okay. So I've done that, and welcome everyone. Please play this today. I'm going to play that very quickly. Doing this so that I can show you the timelines, and you can see what pupils have been doing. Okay, so I've had a quick play of that. There is a delay with the timeline. For obvious reasons. There's thousands of children using Busy Things, so it's updated, I think, every 5 to 10 minutes. So Tim also gets a view of his timeline. No activities played yet. That's obviously not true, but like I say, that is going to populate in the next few minutes, no more than 10 minutes. He can see that let's reload. Same with the files. So his files, his Arctic file, octopus should have gone in there, and it will do, and his timeline will populate here in the next few minutes. So we've done a few things there. I'm going to nip back to teacher view. I'm going to reload the page just in case we have similar issues. There we go. I'm going to go in here now. Oh, you can see like I said here, we've got the reply from Tim. So if you imagine Tim's possibly working at home, I can see I've had a reply. Again, you can switch that off if you want to. You don't want the children sending you messages, that's fair enough. If I go into assignments, I can see now I've got one submission in each of my assignments, and I've got a results option. So I can see Tim's work here, and I can send him some feedback. This will appear in his messages. So I can say, this is great. Maybe ask him a question about it. If I'm trying to build up a dialogue, if he's working remotely. And let's have a look at the quiz results. I can see which questions he's got right, which ones he's got wrong. I can click on this to open the question. But if you imagine the whole class is building up results here, then obviously you as a teacher can see which questions are causing the most problem, but also you can send individual feedback in exactly the same way as we were doing before. So well done, Tim. Okay, so we've seen those. Let's see if the timelines. Yay, timeline has updated. So this is a class timeline. So this is a quick view of who's done the Arctic colouring. We know we've only got one pupil in the class at the moment, but if you had lots of pupils, all their names would be here. And through the timeline, you can also view the files and send feedback. So the timeline, once it's populated, which is very likely to have done, because I don't think you'd be maybe looking at this till the next day or even possibly over the weekend, it will be populated. All the children's names who've completed it will be in there, and you'll be able to view the files and send feedback. You can also click on individual children and see their timeline. So there's Tim's timeline, it's updated now. So you can get an idea of whether they're using it for free play or whether they're just doing what you've asked them to do. So I think I've hopefully shown you the concepts now behind it all. Is there any bit you would like me to go back over?
I just had one question about whether you could, when the children on their landing page, can you only have the yellow one? Could you get rid of the early years key stage 1, key stage 2? So they couldn't free play. So they could only do what you asked them to do.
I think you can hide all the setups, all the default ones. Let's try that. It is something that I've asked the programmers, because when I'm demoing this, obviously it is becoming more and more powerful the more features we add, and I agree that you might want to hide this in pupil view. So let's have a go quickly. I would go into manage setups, and then you need to jump into the settings for each of them and turn them off in pupil mode. Let's see if it does it. I suspect we're going to just get empty age bands, but I suppose that's better.
But you only have to do key stage 1, don't you? Because that's what your class is in.
It's early.
Yeah, only had one coffee.
Yeah, you can hide it in both modes. I've just hidden it in the pupil mode. Let's go and see what that's done. So we've hidden all the early years ones and the key stage 1 ones. Let's have a look. Oh, did we do that? Oh, we're in teacher view. We had it in pupil view, didn't we? So let's go back to pupils, reload the page. Yeah, I've still got those bands. We need to do a bit of work to make that disappear, but then they're not there. At least they're not there.
Okay. So they see the picture, but there's nothing in there.
There's nothing in there for them to get distracted by. Yes, you could definitely do that. So all that Tim can do is go in here. I agree, it would be really nice if they disappear, if you've just chosen to do that. In fact, I think the programmers were talking about making it an option when you make your class to hide content in these age bands. So we'll get around.
Using it in school, I think it's nice if they don't have free access to everything, so they don't come to school and go, done this.
Yeah, that's why we've started doing this. So really what we've done is take existing tools and just get them working with the class that you've created and added a few more. And as long as you're using your USOs, then obviously you've got a line of communication going between you. And the same tools exist to customize these. So we've always had the tools that, you can hide and show areas, you can change the landing page, you can switch this padlock on to remove the back button, you can add things to favorites. All of that still exists in a class setup. But the neat thing is obviously that we're putting them in a little bag for you to manage that nobody else can get into.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Would you like a link to the video so that you could maybe share it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll upload it onto YouTube and make it a private link so you can share it.
Okay, that's great.
All right then.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right then. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's great. Lots to try.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.